In this short video series, we're going to take a look at all of the tools available in SketchUp. First, we're going to take a look at the Select tool. With the Select tool, you can click to select edges, faces, and you can double click to select whole objects. You can also click and drag for the Marquee Select tool, and hold Shift and click to select multiple objects. For more control, pick the Lasso Select tool. Draw a freeform line around any of the objects that you want selected, then release and they'll be selected. Next up is the Eraser tool. With it, you can click individual lines to remove them. You will also remove any faces bound to that line, but you can't delete faces by themselves. You can also smooth objects with the Eraser tool, but we'll cover that in another video. Next, the Line tool. Click a point, move your cursor to draw, and click again to complete the line. You can snap to existing edges and corners, and you can also use the dashed lines to select reference points. Using the up, left and right keys on your keyboard will also lock the line to the X, Y or Z axis. You can also use the freehand tool to draw without constraints, more like drawing with a pencil on paper. Now onto the arc tools. So this is the basic arc tool. Click once to select the midpoint. Click again to select the end point. Move your cursor to draw the arc, and then click once more to complete the arc. We also have the Pie Arc tool, which works exactly the same as the standard arc tool, except this one fills in the face for you. Next up is the 2-point arc. Click once to start the arc, click a second time for the end of the arc, and then move your cursor to define the bulge of the arc. Click again to confirm. Lastly, for arcs, there is the 3-point arc. Click once for the start of the arc, click again for the pivot point, move your cursor to the end, and then click to confirm. Now onto the shapes. Let's start with the rectangle tool. Just as simple as you would think, click once to start the rectangle, move your cursor, and then click again to confirm the rectangle. You'll see your dimensions in the bottom right corner. You can either use this click and drag method, or if you click once to start the rectangle, you can then move down to the dimensions box, manually enter what you need, and then press enter. That will immediately set the rectangle to your specifications. You can also use negative numbers as well to move the box to other sides of the axes. Next up is the rotated rectangle, which is ideal for creating surfaces on an angle. You can use the arrows on your keyboard to set either the X, Y or Z axis, or you can use a reference point from your model to make the cursor go pink. Now that we've got the angle, click once to start, move your cursor, click again to create one line, then drag up for the length of the rectangle. Now the circle. In the bottom right corner, you can see that SketchUp defaults to 24 sides. You can increase this number for a smoother circle. Click once, then drag out for the radius and click again to confirm. You can also click once to start the circle, type the radius into the bottom right corner, press enter, and then the circle will be set for you. If you need to create an ellipse or an oval, then we'll skip ahead to the Scale tool. Select your circle, then use the green handles to change the shape. Lastly, for the shapes, the polygon tool. In the bottom right corner, you'll see that SketchUp defaults to 6 sides, or a hexagon. Here you can increase or decrease the size to change the shape. For obvious reasons, the lowest number you can go to is 3, which will give you a triangle. Same as before, click to start the shape, drag out, and then click again to confirm. Lastly, for this video, before we move on to part 2, we'll take a look at one of the cornerstones of SketchUp, the push-pull tool. It's nice and straightforward, just click and drag on a face, and you'll see the flat image turn into a 3D shape. While you're dragging the face up, you can also hover over different points of your model to select a reference point, so you can match the height or width of something else. Here you can see that you can pull faces. You can also push them down into the model partially to create alcoves. You can also push entirely through an object to cut out complete sections. That's it for now. Click the link below to move on to part 2.